Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast, episode 95.
Welcome to the Out of Order Podcast, your window into the firearms community, exploring those shaping the future of our rights and protecting our lifestyle, laws, legal cases, activism, and self-defense in a candid and honest podcast for our brothers and sisters in arms. Here's your host, James Kalita.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 95 of the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Show notes page for today's episode is outoforderjameskalita.com/95. And today's sponsor is giftforgunnuts.com. Giftforgunnuts.com, where you get great gift ideas for the hunting and shooting sports enthusiast on your holiday shopping list. Updates every day from now until Christmas. So head over to giftforgunnuts.com and check out the cool merchandise. Of course, you can always help out the show by going to any of the show notes page, outoforderjameskalita.com/1 through 95. And you'll find an Amazon search bar there. If you search for what you're looking for there, you generate revenue for the show at no additional cost to yourself. I also want to talk to you guys about Liberty Classroom, where you get the history and economics they didn't teach you in high school. So head over to Liberty Classroom or head over to the show notes page, follow the link to Liberty Classroom, and some great stuff for you there. I want to talk to you guys about Liberty Maniacs. Liberty Maniacs has great pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, pro-liberty t-shirts, sweatshirts, lots of great gift ideas. Head over to show notes page and then find links to Liberty Maniacs. Today's guest is Steve Bozich. Steve's been on the show once before and wanted to talk to him today about his upcoming build party, an IRS-sanctioned AR-15 build party to help people mill and manufacture their own firearms. He's got a first class coming up in a couple of weeks. So now here's Steve.
Steve Bozich, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Steve, the organization you started is getting ready to launch its first event. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what's been happening?
Sure. So, I guess a little bit of background. What we've done is we started a 501c3 nonprofit, and that nonprofit is organized, dedicated to firearm education and safety. And to that end, we are going to offer just a smorgasbord of classes, seminars, workshops, etc., for the purpose of educating and by default making people more safe with firearms. One of those classes is going to be an 80% build class. We're going to teach people. We're going to make available our own tools, our own machine tools. And we're going to make them available for folks to learn how to take an 80% and turn it into a fully functional 100% finished frame or receiver. So our first event, it's our first, official public event. I did do this once before at the Greensboro Gun and Knife Show back in late August. I rented out a table and I offered free build classes to anybody who wanted to build their own. But that was kind of a ad hoc sort of thing. This is the first one that we're setting up. We're going to be running it all day. We're going to have proper machines. That one was a little bit, it was a little bare bones. So this one's going to be much more robust. We're going to have a milling machine. And we're going to teach people how to take an 80% and turn it into 100%.
Excellent. And there were some folks that tried to do this a couple of years ago, and ATF told them no, but there's an angle you've taken that you've managed to get it approved. Would you share with us how you did that?
Sure. So the issue that people ran into in the past, and I believe the last one that I remember was a guy by the name of Daniel Crowningshield out of Sacramento, California, who I guess went by the online moniker Dr. Death. And he had a CNC machine, and he was essentially renting it out for people to come in and bring in their 80% and push a button and finish it. Well, the ATF said you can't do that because you're engaged in the business of manufacturing. And if you're engaged in the business of manufacturing, you need to have a federal firearms license. And if you're doing that without a federal firearms license, you're in violation of federal law. Engaged in the business is actually the standard that the ATF uses per the Gun Control Act to determine whether or not an individual requires an FFL, be they manufacturing or selling firearms or ammunition. And what's important is to understand the definition of engaged in the business. Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 921, subsection A, paragraph 21, defines engaged in the business, and I paraphrase, as a person who devotes time, attention, and labor.
Space and equipment, and it sounds like you were able to get all that together?
Yes. Now, the place that we're going to be giving this class, unfortunately, the space that I had my eye on isn't ready. It's currently being renovated. So the place that I'm going to be giving the class it's just a one-day rental, but it'll suffice for this purpose. October 22nd, 2018, just happens to also be the 50th anniversary of the effective date of the Gun Control Act of 1968. So I definitely wanted to I guess celebrate that date, with our first true build class.
Wow, excellent. Right.
So,
and how's the response been? Are people signing up, or is there still space available?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to be trying to run this all day. I know it's a Monday. It's not the best day. Again, I'm kind of constrained by historical dates. Yep. So I'm going to be trying to run it all day. I hope to have it, set up and ready to go as of 10 a.m. And I hope to be able to stay there as late as 9 or 10 p.m. So, a full 12 hours. I've got my milling machine in the mail. Hopefully I'm getting it tomorrow. So I will be setting up my curriculum. My hope is that we can, create a process that is fast, efficient, safe above all else, and, produces, factory level results. So we still have, a couple things coming, together, but it's coming together.
Excellent. And so I think you told us this last time, but what inspired you to start this organization?
That's a great question. I guess, it's been a long journey for me. As I became more and more of a gun guy, and I became more and more aware of exactly what the laws were. And full disclosure, probably the only thing that I, agree with many on the gun control side about is the fact that we don't have any common sense gun laws. I think we have different interpretations of what common sense means, but I absolutely unequivocally agree with them on that. And so when I started learning about 80%, Cody Wilson, rest in peace, was probably, I guess, for lack of a better term, my muse when it came to learning about that. When I found out about the ghost gunner and 80% and what was possible, I really started doing a deep dive into the law. And as I became more and more familiar, with what the law was and what it required, I realized that there was a way to be able to allow folks to be able to build their own, and and at the same time take my knowledge, my expertise, if you will, and leverage it to make gun owners all around my community safer. So that's what I hope to be able to do.
Wow, excellent. So where can people find you? Where's the best way for them to help out and get involved?
Sure. So the website for the nonprofit is www.armedandsafe, that's one word, .us. And we, unfortunately, for the last 6 to 8 weeks, I've been out trying to find a processor. I used to have well, when I first got my determination letter from the IRS saying that I was a 501c3 nonprofit, I tried to get set up with GoFundMe, and GoFundMe said, nope, we're not going to let you fundraise on our site because guns.
Yep.
So I found an alternative called UCarry, who worked fine for a couple months, but unfortunately they've been bought out by, guess who? GoFundMe.
Yep.
So I was left pretty high and dry. And so I have finally gotten, processing so I can take donations again. And that's, on the website. All of our documentation is on the website. So our 1023 application, the IRS that explains, all the programs and classes that we plan on offering, those are there. Our determination letter from the IRS, et cetera, et cetera. So I try, it's still a little bit bare bones. It's building along with everything else, simultaneously, but all of the critical information should be there. And of course, so is my personal contact information. So if anybody has any questions whatsoever, I encourage them to give me a call, shoot me a text, an email, whatever the case may be.
Great. Well, I thank you very much for being on the show. Any parting words for our listeners?
Oh, goodness. Well, I assume that your listeners are as enthusiastic and passionate about individual liberty, about gun rights as I am. And I just, I encourage them to support what we're doing and to, get out there and help be the tip of the spear.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for being on the show, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 95 of the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Show notes page for today's episode is outoforderjameskalita.com/95. So head over to the show notes page, check out our sponsors, giftforgunnuts.com, where you get great gift ideas for the hunting and shooting sports enthusiast on your holiday shopping list every day from now until Christmas. Head over to giftforgunnuts.com, and this is Out of Order James Kalita. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.